Hi. As we are getting near to Easter, I've been reading the accounts of the days just before Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, and especially how he agonized in prayer in Gethsemane just before he was arrested. This is Matthew 26. Then Jesus went with them to the olive grove called Gethsemane, and he said, "Sit here while I go over there to pray." He took Peter and the sons of Zebedee, James and John, and he became anguished and distressed. He told them, "My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." And he went on a little further and bowed with his face to the ground, praying, "My Father, if it's possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." Then he returned to the disciples and found them asleep. He said to Peter, "Couldn't you watch with me for even 1 hour? Keep watch and pray so that you will not give in to temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak." Then Jesus left them a second time and prayed, "My Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will be done." When he returned to them again, he found them sleeping, for they couldn't keep their eyes open. So he went to pray a third time, saying the same things again. Then he came to the disciples and said, "Go ahead and sleep. Have your rest. But look, the time has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners." Reading that, I've been really struck by the incredible vulnerability that Jesus reveals here. The one through whom and for whom the whole of creation came into being desperately pleads for the support of his closest friends at this moment. As he agonized about what he knew was about to happen, as he felt utterly crushed and sweated profusely like drops of blood, he begs for his friends to help him, to pray alongside him, to stay and keep watch with him. He really needed them. As it turned out, they weren't all that much help to him. They wanted to, but in their grief, they couldn't really stay awake. Yet the thing is that Jesus really wanted them alongside him. He needed others he could lean on in this time of incredible stress. This remarkable vulnerability happened at the very turning point of history. Jesus could have chosen differently at that moment. As he said just a moment later, he could have called on thousands of angels to rescue him from the situation, but he didn't. And as he went through the hardest of times, he just wanted friends to be alongside him, to wait with him, to watch with him, to pray with him, to be there, present with him. And while for Jesus this moment of intense vulnerability is now past, he still longs for our presence with him. He still craves our friendship. "Stay here and watch with me" is still his invitation. And he calls us to stay alongside each other as we face our own struggles, as we confront agonizing times, moments of intense physical or mental or emotional pain. When we're seeking to support friends, it may not feel like we have much to say or much that we can do, but just finding ways of being there for each other, and preferably staying awake, is often enough. And asking for the companionship and support of friends when we're struggling is not something we should be embarrassed or ashamed of. Jesus wasn't. This period of isolation seems as though it may continue for quite some time, and is likely to be particularly testing for some of us. The need to stay awake to each other's needs will be vital, to keep watch with each other, albeit not physically. And I'm also trying to remember that Jesus' desire, his genuine desire and invitation to me, remains the same. Stay here and keep watch with me. Julie was sharing last week some practical suggestions about this, and I want to learn ways to get better at keeping watch with Jesus during this period.